And what comes as a result of that work is confidence, empowerment, something that's not yet been said. And it's why it's taken me so long to make this video. Because I felt like I didn't have anything that hadn't already been said, anything to say that hadn't already been said. But that's just not true. Hi, my name is Stacey Trenteseaux, and this is my first YouTube video. It's taken me a long time to get to the point where I accept, embrace, acknowledge, and realize that I have something valuable to say and that I should be speaking it. I grew up in the generation that didn't put everything on the internet, so it's taken me a long time to get to a place where I feel comfortable putting something on the internet. We're not old, okay? We're not old. We just didn't grow up with everything being out on the internet. Like when I grew up, I remember when we got internet at our house. Like we didn't have it before I was 12, and then when I was 12, we had it. I remember when we got our first computer. I mean, first we had a typewriter. We had like old school, like actual typewriter. And so I remember starting to turn in reports for school, for middle school, on an actual typewriter. And then we upgraded to a word processor, which was really exciting. And then we finally upgraded to a computer, which had a printer. And that was really exciting because then you didn't have the little, you guys, some of you guys will remember this, these pieces of paper that had the little holes, you know, like the side things that you had to rip off of the page. Some of you will never know what that is. But like, you used to get printer paper in a roll. It was not like in sheets. You would get a roll and they were all like stuck together, kind of like a giant receipt thing, you know? And it was perforated and you would tear it apart. And then it had these little strips of holes on the end. And those holes is what fed it through the printer. And so you would have to like tear off those strips before you turned in your paper. So your paper would print out like on a giant long receipt. And then you would have to tear off those strips and like tear apart your pages and stack them. And then like, I guess we stapled them. Yeah. And turn them in. Anyway, I promise I'm not that old. But I guess I am that old, but I'm not old. Anyway. Yeah, so we didn't grow up with being on the internet. So just to tell you a little about myself, I'm a singer, an artist, teacher, and consultant. I've always been a creative person since I was a child. I grew up around music. I grew up drawing and kind of expressing myself creatively. So I've always been really interested in creativity and kind of creative expression. So I just want to share with you today a little about who I am and why I do what I do. And I am an American living in Dresden, Germany. I'm a professional opera singer, and I am also, just a creative, an artist and creative person. My mission, my purpose, my goal is to empower artists around the world to feel confident and to feel like they can pursue the projects that they dream about, and to also give them the tools that I've collected over the last 30 years to help them on that path. So my specialty is helping people figure out why they do what they do and then helping them express themselves in that why, so to speak. So I believe that there are two things. So there's the why, and that's important for you to find and figure out or discover for yourself. And then there's your purpose. And so the difference between, some people use those terms, I think, interchangeably. Like, why do you do what you do? What's your purpose in life? Well, I think your why is defined by you. you get to choose that, or you get to discover it, I should say. It's in line with your own personal values, your own gut instincts, and you really have to spend time with yourself to discover really why you do what you do. Some people get there very young, as a teenager, and normally we have an inkling of it at some point in our lives, or at every point in our lives, I should say. We have an inkling of our why. But we often don't know how to categorize it or like talk about it until we get older, until we become an adult. And even then, we don't know how to talk about it a lot, or it becomes confused. We get confused very easily by life or people or other people's expectations or our environment, our jobs, our would have, should have, could haves that we put on ourselves, these expectations that we hold ourselves to. So I help people try to get to the center of why they do what they do. And then I try to help them express that in their life. Whether that means they start a new project, they start a new job, through language, through music, through their own creative artistry of some kind. You see, as a professional artist, and I don't think this is specific to artists, I think this happens in every career path. But it's special for artists, I think. And maybe it's special for musicians. I'm not sure. No, I know it's not. Dancers deal with the same thing. Probably visual artists as well. We're often told in especially our higher education, what we can't do more than what we can do. What we're not allowed to do more than what we are allowed to do. If you're one of the very special few who received an education from start to finish where you felt totally empowered, totally encouraged, totally allowed to produce creativity in your own way, I want to know that program that you were in. I want to know the teachers that you were a part of. I want to know the schools that you went to, because it is so rare. Most artists that I meet have had a very difficult time being creative and maintaining creativity in the environment of training. And as a result, we end up being very confused when we get into the real world. So as a singer, we grow up in this academic environment where you're taught the rules and then you have to follow all the rules. And I remember having conversations with some good friends of mine in my bachelor's degree. I remember literally us asking each other, like, when do we get to become artists? We were asking each other this, like, when do we get to decide what's right and wrong and good and bad? Like, when do we get to decide that? And it's such a shame that me as a, 21-year-old, 22-year-old, that I didn't feel like I was empowered to make that decision for myself, because the answer was right now. But we were told by the authorities, the faculty that be, that you didn't get that choice and that you had to adhere strictly to the rules that came before you and the traditions and the style and the blah, 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 blah that came before you. And I'm not opposed to that. I'm opposed to people not feeling like they have a choice. It's important. We have to know our history. We have to reflect. We have to look and learn what came before us and to imitate what came before us sometimes in order to learn what we like and what we don't like. Because you have to do things sometimes to know if you like it or not. Or whether it's for you or not. Maybe you like it, but it's not for you. Like, I love deep, dark, beautiful chocolate voices. I wanted to be a mezzo or an alto my entire life, but that's not for me because I'm not a mezzo and I'm not an alto. I can still love it, but I just don't. I have to accept that it's just not for me to sing. So anyway, what I do is help artists get in touch with, or in touch, reconnect with why they do what they do, figure out what's really for them, And then I help them express it in simplest terms. And what comes as a result of that work is confidence, empowerment, something that's not yet been said. And it's why it's taken me so long to make this video. Because I felt like I didn't have anything that hadn't already been said, anything to say that hadn't already been said. But that's just not true. Because no one is me. No one has the same combination of life experiences as me. And it's the same for you. No one is you. No one has the same life experiences as you. You have something to say that hasn't yet been said. So, I don't know. I guess today I challenge you to say the unsaid. Say the unsaid. And whatever that is that you have to say, that's it. I believe that everyone is enough because they are. Everyone is valuable because they are. Everyone has something valuable to say because you are, because you exist, because you are a living being. And I can help you say that. You can help you say that, really. The first step is to find your why. And the second step is to learn how that's going to be expressed in your life. And then from there, you have your purpose. I don't know if you can fully choose your purpose. You can choose what all those things, your why, your how, your what, bring into your life. The purpose that it gives your life, you can choose. But you can't choose the purpose that it gives other people's lives. You just have to be true to your why. You have to understand why you do what you do. And be true to that, and then everything else takes care of itself. The purpose, so to speak, doesn't matter anymore because you just are. You are being. You are being yourself fully, and you are embracing yourself fully, 100%. And I long to see a world of people who do that, who choose to embrace themselves 100%. And don't believe everything that they're told. I believed for a very long time everything that I was told. I was a very gullible child. You can ask my mother. All you had to do was look at me the wrong way and I would burst into tears because I felt like I did something wrong, you know? And I was the people pleaser and always wanted to be the good girl. And I succeeded for a long time at being the good girl until I decided I didn't want to be the good girl anymore. So I would challenge you to not be the good girl or the good boy or the good whoever you are, the good person, the good human. Be someone who is bold. Be the bold one. Because what's good is often subjective. You get to choose. So be bold in your choice and be unapologetic no matter what you choose. And I think that's all for this time. I really hope that you will start to think about why it is you do what you do. And come back here to find more tools to help you do that, and encouragement and empowerment to start making decisions for yourself, if that's what you need to do. Maybe you're already doing and fulfilling your why. I hope you are. Anyway, until the next time I see you.